story. You can imagine that if you are not sure of who you are, let alone believe in yourself, how can you tell somebody else's story? So it's very important to believe in yourself and believe in your dreams. And I think also I am very grounded in where I come from. My grandmother's teachings, my family teachings, I come from a very spiritual family. So I always ground myself, with my ancestors and prayer. And it is really, really true because, again, we work with people and stories. It's always, always moving. You have to find a grounding place. Where do you go to look at the mirror and get your strength? Find that, and what that is for you, use it, pour your cup with it, so that you can become, the best version of yourself.
Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Come over here, let's mind other people's business a little bit. Touch 10 minutes of your time just to mind other people's business. You will get back to your business just now, okay? Listen, you guys, when we start hearing that the cast members on these shows that we love very much and watch so much and pay DSTV, because guys, listen, sometimes you'll be feeling like the only reason you pay DSTV is so that you can watch Izingane Zesthembu, or the only reason you pay DSTV is so you can watch Izingane Zesthembu, whatever the show that is hot at that time, because they usually don't have a lot of hot shows at the same time on DSTV. So sometimes you'll be feeling like I'm basically just paying for one show. So when we do that, because we care about these shows and we love them so much and we support the shows, because if we're not watching them, they wouldn't be able to do the show. When we start hearing that behind the scenes our favorite people are not treated right, we go and we look closely. We call the internet, we say, internet, come over here, give us some information about what's happening with this show behind the scenes. Who's responsible for this show? Because now we want to ask some questions, okay? We want to ask some questions. One of the questions that I have asked you guys was, how much are these kids being paid? When I say kids, you guys, I say kids because they are kids to me. But also, you guys, because the show is called Izingane Zesthembu. Okay, I've always wondered how much the kids were paid. And there was somebody that let it slip somewhere that there was a 25,000 rands a show or a season that they were being paid. I remember thinking 25,000 rands for a season. I would understand if they were saying it's 25,000 rands an episode, okay? 25,000 rands a season. And I've been waiting for somebody to come out and correct us and say, no, maybe it's like 500,000 rands a season, maybe 750,000 rands a season, but nobody has come out with different information, okay, or a different amount from 25,000 rand, which makes me feel like, is it really possible that they are paying these kids a measly 25,000 rands a season of this show when they do so much to shoot the show, and then after the show they go through so much? We are still talking about the things that happened on the show. The kids are still getting bullied online because of what happened on the show, and you are telling me that you only pay them 25,000 rands a season. Okay, something is not making sense. And I was like, we need to look closely at this show and find out who is responsible for all of this mess, especially if we are hearing that people are being possibly bullied behind the scenes. We need to know, okay? We need to know. It's even worse, you guys, when your boss is your father. Because how does your father scam you? At least with us, we don't even know our bosses. We don't even know where they live. They are not related to us, okay? So they can freely scam us and pay us peanuts, But how does your father pay you peanuts, okay? So now, with Izingane Zesthembu, you guys, they say that it's produced by Milk and Honey, the production company. When you look at the credits, you guys know when they run the credits after the show, they said the executive producers are Musa Mselegu, it's Portia Hlubi, and then it's Mpumelelo Mselegu, father and son, and then it's Portia Hlubi. Portia Hlubi, if you look her up, she is said to be the founder of Milk and Honey Production. Listen, you guys, I was in the internet even looking for the financial statements, because I was like, we need to know, where are the audited financial statements of Milk and Honey Production? Because we need to know how much money they made on this show for them to possibly be paying these kids 25,000 rands per season. We need to know, okay? We need to know how much Musa Mselegu made on this show. We need to know how much Portia Hlubi made on this show. And we need to know how much Pumelelo made on this show. Because now, If you are going to be behind the scenes, bullying or snay, and not wanting them to do the interviews and not wanting them to do things that might possibly make them more money, then you should be paying them millions. If you're going to tell these kids they can't do, for an example, that means that Usne cannot just start a YouTube channel and talk about what happens on the show. Okay? So if you are saying that, then you must be paying them millions so that they can relax at home and wait for the next season. Okay? If you're not doing that, then we start asking questions. Okay? Now, Uposha Hlubi, you guys, is the lady whose clip you are going to see here, where she was doing an interview just talking about her work, you guys, and it's admirable stuff. But we want to know how much are you paying those kids, okay? I kind of feel like when it comes to reality TV shows, you guys, there must be a law somewhere that says that the salaries must be transparent. Okay, I feel like that because when it comes to reality shows, they don't only use adults. Okay, they use adults, they also use underage kids on these shows, and it's public interest for us to know that the kids, when they're being used on these shows, they're being paid. Now, I'm not talking about Ompumelelo, Osne, and all of that, because those kids are adult kids, okay, but they also on, for an example, Izingane Zesthembu, they use the younger kids. Okay, are they paying them? We were told that only the mothers are paid and the kids are not paid on the show. But some of the kids make more appearance than others. Okay, why not start a trust fund for each of the kids and then put the money there when they turn 18, they can get it. It doesn't mean that just because they are kids, they shouldn't be paid. Now, this is the reason I came and I looked, because I was like, I want to know who's behind all of this mess. Okay, so in addition to the three executives, which is Musamselego, Portia Hlubi, and Umpumelelo, we also have Umakhumalo, whom they say is a consulting producer. Okay, I had to go and look, you guys, what a consulting producer does. They said something about, usually it's somebody that was previously an executive producer and have knowledge on how to do the show, or how the show should go, or they just have knowledge of production, and now and then they are the ones that would advise during the production of the show. So Makhumalo is a producer, but not the executive producer. She is a consulting producer on this show. Also, if you look at the credits, you guys, for season 2, they're not the same as the credits in season 1. It looks like things have changed, who the producers are. And also in the first season, I'm saying quite a few names, Zabantu Bagakumal, and I was like, I'm just wondering. You know, Gibono driver, Bagakumalo, Gibono makeup, and what's Bagakumal, and I'm like, internet, come over here and give us the information. So we are still working on that part, you guys. Listen, here is the thing that is making me feel like we need to be watching closely what's happening with this show, because one, it's a family show. It's very easy for everybody in the family to agree to do the show without really thinking, I need to be checking on my contract as an individual to see if I'm being treated fairly, if I'm being paid fairly, because for some people, they might just assume, I mean, it's my father, you know, he's not going to do anything that is going to hurt me. But that is where you get really robbed, okay? You know, so I do feel like the adult kids need to start looking at their contract closely when the season starts, okay? They need to negotiate better contracts for themselves and better pays for themselves. If the 25,000 rand story is true, guys, that is ridiculous. You can't be paid 25,000 rands for all of the trouble that you have to go through for this show, okay? You need to be asking for more money, okay? Now, when Podcast About Nothing was doing that video about, you know, the behind the scenes of the interview that they did with Usne, he talked about getting a call or getting a message from a certain woman who said that she worked for the production company Yagamselego. So I was thinking, which woman is this? Because obviously, I think that this guy would know if it was Umakhumalo, you know. And I was wondering if it is Portia Hlubi that actually called him, okay, or sent him a message, because at first he got messages from this lady, and then later on Pumelelo and this lady called him, okay. So I'm just thinking The executives are three people. It's Musa Mselegu, Portia, and Mpumelelo. He got a call from two people. It's a woman and Mpumelelo. I thought it's a possibility that the person that called him was Portia Hlubi and Mpumelelo. When he is showing the messages, he hides the person's name. Okay, so we don't get to hear, and he doesn't say it, Gutubadi, the person that called him. The only thing that I'm wondering about is that this person had pretended to be somebody that worked for DSTV. So there's no mention of milk and honey production when the conversation is taking place. Maybe she didn't want him to know that. And also, you guys, the fact that on the messages, there's a mention of a Thanks Mal production, which is a Musam Selego production company. But I just wondered, you guys, would it be somebody that is not really one of the producers of the show? Why would that person involve themselves in calling this guy about this situation? So it kind of made me feel like maybe it was Portia, but at the same time, having gone and watched some of Portia's work and all of that, I would think that she would be more professional than that. Okay, it sounds to me like behind the scenes, Snail was being intimidated into submission. Okay, because I feel like if it is true that Snail breached her contract, then the issue should have been between the production company and Snail to say, Snail, listen, this is what you signed. You are not supposed to do interviews when the show is still going on. Okay, so the fact that they took it upon themselves to even go and speak to the podcaster to try and stop him from posting the episode, and even asking Usne to send messages that were not hers and saying to her, send this message as if it was sent by you, it does kind of feel to me like some kind of bullying. Okay, I didn't like it, you guys. I didn't like hearing about that, because I do feel like they have to give the talent a little bit of respect. You can't people, if the issue is that Snake didn't understand the clause in the contract, then you just have to explain to Snake, you're not supposed to do interviews. Next time, you have to wait for the season to end for you to do the interviews. But the intimidation that is indicated here is what I do not like, especially when it's somebody that is making you as much money as she is making you. Okay, we know she's making you millions. You just have to tell us how many millions at this point. We know for sure she's making millions, okay, for everybody else, but we know that she's not getting the millions. How do we know that the cast is not being, listen, okay, here's the thing. They said, somebody said, or let it slip, that it was 25,000 rands. Okay, let's just say that it's not true. Look at the cast's lives. Okay, the kids, all of the kids on Izingane Zesthembu, look at their lives. Has anybody bought themselves a car? Has anybody bought an apartment, maybe? Has anybody bought a house, maybe? Has anybody gone on a holiday overseas? You know? Just asking. Let's just say it's not 25,000 rands, okay? All we saw was people being given second-hand cars, okay? While we were seeing some people in other places buying cars, because there are people who are buying cars every season, but when we look at the cars for this show for the kids, none of them are buying themselves cars. Instead, we saw one of the executives going to some place to pay intlawulo for a virgin that he broke 100 years ago, okay? But the other cast, we are looking for new cars, we are looking for the houses, anything to indicate that these people are making the millions that the show is making, and it's giving 25,000 rands. Okay? That's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like it must be 25,000 rands, because they are definitely looking like they are living the 25,000 rands life. Because if it was more than that, I believe that we would see it. Okay? Somebody even said, Ngompumelelo, that they feel like Ngompumelelo needs new clothes. And I was like, what does that mean? But then I went through the interviews with Ngompumelelo quickly, and I was like, oh, I see what you're talking about, because it's okay. But then yeah, at least he gets the 25, but he's also the executive, which means that he gets more than the cast. What about the cast? Okay, so listen, you guys need to stop. Okay, you need to stop intimidating people behind the scenes, because we are going to start looking closely. And right now it does look like you guys are not paying these people a lot. Okay, so stop intimidating them and stopping them from going to other platforms that might lead to them making money somewhere else. Okay, let us not do the interviews if she wants to do the interviews. Okay, she's already given so much to the show. Now you just want her to just be making that 25,000 rands and that's it. Who wants to make 25,000 rands a year and that's it? They just sit and they wait for the next season, because that means that that's all that they're getting, 25,000 rands a year. Now they sit and wait to shoot the next season. Guys, I pray, okay, and hope that they are lying about the 25,000 rands. I hope that it's more. But if it is 25,000 rands, shame on Milk and Honey, okay? Shame on Musa Mselegu, shame on Pumelelo Mselegu, and shame on Umakumalo. Anyway, you guys, listen. From now on, you guys, okay? From now on, I'm not just reviewing the show, but I'm going to review the show and I'm going to review their whole lives, okay? You buy new shoes, I'm on your case about it, okay? You buy a new car, you buy a new house, you buy everything. I'm auditing every single one of these executives at this point, because listen, if you're buying a new car, your talent must be buying a new car too. If you're getting a new house, your talent must be getting a new house too. Because how are you making more money than your talent? Okay? So listen, stop it, okay? Stop the intimidation behind the scenes, okay? Because we are going to be onto you and you are not going to like it, okay? At this point, you're going to be like Moja Love, okay? Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like it before Pumegona. Share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Cool.